No, forgive me for saying this. Just kind of overlooked this. But this video just about took a real bad turn for the worst. And it all started as soon as I got this thing out. And there's about a million things I want to say, but I just don't imagine that they're in my best interest to say. Well, today this is an inductor. Yesterday it was a capacitor. The day before that it didn't know what it was. It's 1.9 Henrys today. I'm sure tomorrow that'll change. So this is what I got here. I have a new secondary. I got a 1,000 turn secondary here on some SGS's I've never used before, but I'm sure they're every bit as good as the other old 5886s. I made a new heatsink here for this thing, just for the sake of doing something. This is like a 20 or 30% slice out of a huge stud mount rectifier heatsink that I sliced up into pieces to try to get the most bang for the buck out of. It was a little bit awkward trying to get these transistors in there because I just don't have much space back here to work with, but pulled that off. So I got my usual 7.5 ohm sand resistors in series, 2 of them, and 047. So I went back to the Belden number 14 magnet wire. There's 5 turns on each side, 2 turns on the base drive on some number 26, same old 100 ohm and 10 ohm to ground. And these connections are actually the emitter connections that I pulled out through the heatsink. I put bushings in here, like shoulder washers or shoulder bushings, so I could pull them out through. So we're going to fire this up and see what it does. I will tell you this though, had this been about 30 years ago, when I connected this thing up earlier and it did not work, I was extremely close to just hitting the power switch on this flyback. Extremely close. So I could send a video of this to the company that manufactures this stuff as a Christmas card. And that's about as lightly as I can put it. So this is what I got on the scope. 37.47 is 26.5 somewhere. 26, roughly around 26 kilohertz, maybe a little over. We're going to see what comes out of this. That's interesting. It's clearly burning up the copper because it's, number one, it's louder than can be. Number two, it's burning like bright green. Wow, that is intense bright. I can't even see straight now. Wow, that's only 10.5 volts, and I'm just kind of thinking, wow, my eyes are all weirded out. I think it's time for a pair of goggles. You know, I kind of need some help on this because maybe somebody can figure this out. I know there's 3 billion people out there that are way smarter than I am. So here's my question. I have a piece of probably what was rated at 5 kV. This is test probe wire from probably would have been common to the late 80s, early 90s. I'm pretty certain it's probably Belden, but I don't know. But here's my point. This almost feels the consistency of this. This is not 100% silicone by any means. There is something mixed in with this wire, and I don't know what it is. But maybe that's the fire factor here. The only real thought I have, I don't research anything because I despise the internet because it leaves you with more questions than it does answers. My thought here would be to take a piece of silicone hose and put over this thing. And that would keep it from maybe destroying the insulation, but it still seems to be burning the heck out of the wire down into it. So if somebody has an idea how to better terminate this flyback, please let me know. That would really be awesome. So I'm kind of thinking that I just need to get some reinforcements here, because it certainly doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to crank this up to like 12 or 15 volts without something detrimental happening. But here on an unrelated note, maybe this is something I need to do. I managed to find one of these thermo amp meters, and I haven't hooked this up yet, but my assumption is this is going to be the ticket for finding out how much current's going through that secondary, unless I overlooked something. Now, to the best of my knowledge, some of these thermocouple amp meters have a built-in thermocouple, and some of them are external, but this one has an internal. Also, to the best of my knowledge, is these things should read down to, 25K. And I don't necessarily mean down to 25K, but I mean they should have no issue reading in that range. My assumption is they may read down to line frequency. I just don't know. Now this is gapped at, because I think I forgot to say this is gapped at 2.5 mils. Now I don't want to beat anybody up with watching this video as far as my talk goes. I know there's bigger and better things to view. I totally understand that. But to anybody that may mess with these oscillators, to the best of my knowledge, I think this would be considered a Hartley. So wow, that thing is burning hot. So strangely, can't see the scope now because my eyes are shut down. It kind of looked to me like we were only seeing about, well, 50 volts per division. Probably around 130 volt spikes on the collectors, which is significantly less than what I would expect. Put a pair of sunglasses over top a pair of blue blockers. That helped a little bit for scientific information. I think I definitely need an auto shield. Something just croaked. We just popped a transistor. I would have never expected that. I honestly wouldn't have. I've never blown one of these before. But then again, I never had one that was burning brighter than the sun either. So, man, that makes me just very angry. Because these old 5886s are about as common as condor eggs. And there's no doubt in my mind that transistor probably was just one of them. Cracked. Oh well, things happen. Hey, appreciate you watching. Have yourself a nice day.